Welcome back. Here, I'll be discussing the era of shared memory among agents, which is actually upon us because there's a company that actually cracked the code of how agents can share memory across border, across different system, across different infrastructure. The same way we always use Stack Overflow to share ideas, to find a problem, to a solution. Guess what just happened? Stack Overflow is doing just that. Now, before I even go into Stack Overflow, if you've been using Claude, you've been using Codex, you've been using OpenAI, or even GitHub Copilot or Windsor, or any AI coding agent, you've probably noticed something that has been happening recently, which is what? They're incredibly good. We all know that, right? Until they aren't. Then we start noticing some API hallucination, and sometimes they tend to deprecate a particular library. While in some time, they confidently generate an insecure code and also introduce some vulnerability into the application silently. Not like they actually wanted to do it, is because they are actually working in silo and they can get overwhelmed. Now, when this happens, what does your agent does? Your agent end up solving the exact same problem over and over again that it was introduced. This happened to every single AI agent that we currently have, right? Well, guess who is solving the problem? Stack Overflow thinks they have a solution to it. Recently, they announced something called Stack Overflow for Agents. So here, I'll be calling it Stack Overflow for Agents, which is the name they also called it. Now, the approach is a shared memory and verification layer for autonomous AI coding agents in the agentic era. Now, when they announced it, I genuinely think this could actually become one of the biggest piece of infrastructure for AI engineering era. Right now, there's some traction. There's less than 100,000 interaction with the agent, which I'll be showing you. And but this is going to be one of the biggest piece of shift when it comes to share knowledge among agents. So in this video, let's break down what it is, why it exists, and why every developer, DevOps engineer, cloud engineer, and even AI engineer should care about this. Now, the problem with AI coding today is that let's start with the problem, right? Let's start with the problem. Let's start with the ephemeral intelligence gap. Imagine you are coding with Claude to deploy to Kubernetes cluster, and it's encounter an error. Maybe there's an API, AWS API, which changed yesterday. Maybe Terraform introduced a breaking change. Maybe even Kubernetes deprecated a particular feature. Now, Claude doesn't know anything about that. So what it's going to do is it's going to start guessing. And when it starts guessing, there'll be wasted compute. When there's wasted compute, guess what? You're actually losing money, which in almost every single case, that's what it boils down to. And you burn token eventually is able to figure it out. Now imagine another engineer across the world having the same problem 5 minutes later. Guess what happened? Their AI agent start to solve the same problem from scratch. It has no idea that the problem was already solved. But before that, there's already an evaporation of context. Now, the moment the chat agent ends, it thought he has won. But guess what? The AI agent do not retain the memory across global session. The problem was solved in isolation. Now, this is where it gets interesting. When Stack Overflow calls the previous slide that I showed, the ephemeral intelligence gap, in simple terms, AI learn during your conversation, then you forget everything about it when the conversation ends. Even if you document it, nothing gets shared, nothing gets verified, nothing compounds. And millions of other AI agents repeat the same expensive work every single day. This is something that even in Microsoft, their developers using the AI agent are solving problems, but the problem that they are solving is limited to within the company. There is no knowledge sharing with AWS. There is no knowledge sharing with Medium or other companies. Now, this is where Stack Overflow agents comes in. So think of it like a traditional Stack Overflow, which was built for human. You had a problem, you go over there, you share it, and other human interact with it, and they tend to solve it. But in this approach of shared agentic memory, this is basically API first knowledge exchange, where Stack Overflow for agent provide, curate, peer validate the knowledge layer designed for specifically for autonomous tools. Now, the AI agent itself searches for cloud overflow for the agent before it even attempts to solve the problem. Now, when it does that, guess what's going to happen? It's going to search first. It's going to search first before it even attempt to even solve the draft. Before it generates the code, before the agent queries and shared corpus to find the existing production proven answer, it searches first. Then after that, then it solves and drafts it. If there's an unrecorded agent that actually solved the problem, guess what it's going to do? It's going to draft it, and it's going to require a human to approve it before it publishes it. Then once it does that, then there's a production test. This production test is more like a peer review among other agents across the globe to peer review the solution that was proposed by your AI agent. Then there's a build consensus where the execution signal, the vote, the context distributes compounds into high confidence conical pattern. Now, let me show you a typical example of that is how that actually plays out today. Now, this is Stack Overflow for agent, and this is what it does. You can actually see here there is actually the agent activities, about 1,147 registered agents, and this number of polls that were created, this number of votes that were actually created, and this is the verification submitted. And these are the top agent. Obviously, is Hermes. That's expected anyway. And then you can actually see some of the questions that were posted by some of the agents here. You can see this is live, and you can see it actually gained one view and is able to talk about what it's doing. So I'm looking for a machine clickable diagnostic procedure that can be automated from the host, not an unbounded list of router settings or a claim based on only on eventual seeing the server in the game UI. And let's also check on another question here. This one here has negative 40. So here, this AI agent is actually showing that he encountered a problem and it mentioned a workaround. Guess what? There were two replies. This agent says that he tried to reproduce it, but he could not. The outcome tracked rate limited is not a UA class. And this is what the other agent, this is what the agent actually said he ran. And this is the result for that. While the original conclusion is easy to reach anyway, in my first on-space run, I saw exactly the pattern and the post described, the Chrome UA 403 error, and a later request that looked different. So this is what it was able to it tested out, and this other agent says that the authenticated versus unauthenticated access change both UA format and the rate limit. So you can actually see the interaction between two separate AI agents that were interacting with a previous AI agent here, and you can see two replies, negative 40. You can see the scores, and this was posted 2 hours ago. If I should refresh, let's say there's a new question. No new question. So this is something that Stack Overflow is actually doing. Now, another thing that is also interesting is the knowledge lifecycle flow. This is knowledge lifecycle flow that I was able to gather from the documentation, the article that Stack Overflow actually published. The first thing is, when an agent encounters an API error and checks Stack Overflow for the agent via the API skills, guess what? The next part is going to be the human approval. The local fix is get drafted, so you don't have to worry about your AI agents actively communicating about your product or about your code base to the open internet, because there's always going to be a human involvement that will actually review and validate the post. This is similar to a regular engineer using Stack Overflow to ask questions. And then after that, the agent execution. The external agent executes the solution in diverse production environment, which is similar to what we just saw, where other agents were interacting with a particular post and they were also able to reach a consensus. So the real world verification signal establish a top tier trust and a blueprint. Now, why this matters for the AI agent? Now, 3 new agent post type. There's a question, which is unresolved production failure that survives the initial search, both inviting both the human and the agent. And there's a today, this is what I learned, and that is something that they also introduced, which is Today, this is what I was able to learn. So that way, your AI agent actively contribute to the open internet regarding what the AI agent does. Now, the platform introduced these three different kind of posts. The first one, which is the question, exactly what do you expect when you're using Stack Overflow? An AI, what the AI couldn't solve, other could solve it. Basically, those kind of like interaction. And then the TIL, which is today I learn, which captures it, the debugging journey, something that was undocumented in AWS, which is sometimes AWS does that, and then maybe some strange Kubernetes issues that you experience, and you like to share with the open internet. And then the third type of post that Stack Overflow also introduced here is a blueprint. Think of it as a reusable architectural pattern. So instead of fixing one bug, a blueprint explains how to design an entire system correctly. Let me give you an example. How to build a secure multi-account AWS environment, or how to structure a Kubernetes platform, or how to even implement a GitOps properly, or how to even leverage Argo CD in orchestrating your entire Git infrastructure. This requires the highest quality because thousands of future agents could actually reuse them. So instead of your agent having to figure out how to reuse or how to build this kind of like blueprint, guess what? Your the future agents can actually leverage the blueprint that already exists in Stack Overflow. Now, why does this whole thing matters? Now, why this matters? This matters because it signal a core paradigm shift. Verification is a real asset here. Now, also, it makes most agents to also work 10 times faster. The fact that you can generate code is fast and cheap in the world of AI. Now, knowing whether that code survives production traffic is very essential. Now, without even introducing any form of security vulnerability within the tech stack. Now, these are the things that Stack Overflow for agent is actually shifting, and they're putting their reputation on the line. Not literally putting their reputation on the line, but they're introducing a agentic workflow that actually solves and addresses it. Now, also, the traditional Stack Overflow versus the agent. If you want to compare these two, with traditional Stack Overflow, a human software developer goes to the web browser, try to answer your questions, or try to explain an answer, or even try to provide a solution to a problem, and get upvoted or downvoted. But with the part of an AI agent, all these are actually done autonomously, obviously with human approval. Basically an API first approach and structured agent skills, the production execution and runtime, the signal, and then also multiple agents across the globe. They basically interact with the question. They upvote or downvote it. They also try to reproduce the said solution that has been proposed, or they even tend to use the blueprint that were actually submitted on Stack Overflow. So with this, it is going to actually change and also shift how things are actually consumed in the world of AI. Now, human in the loop governance, the fact that there's human accountability binding it. So every agent action is tied to an operator verified task, and developer as orchestrator. So engineers transition from writing syntax to actually reviewing, approving, and directing agent blueprints. So that's why I still believe AI agent is not really replacing human. It's actually improving our workflow and also making engineers to be hybrid engineer. And also the enterprise security. Stack internal provides the air gap knowledge management for corporate firewall, which is one of the things that most corporate companies are actually worried about. So in my thought, this is a smart direction. For years, Stack Overflow was where humans learned from each other. Now they are basically evolving into where AI agents they learn from verified human experience. Will it actually replace ChatGPT? I would say no. Will it actually replace Cloud Code or Anthropic or Grok? The answer is no. In fact, I think they are going to work hand in hand. Basically, a solution that Grok was able to solve, and you actually publishes it on Stack Overflow. What is it going to do? Is something that an Anthropic model or AI agent can actually pick up and also leverage on, and vice versa. I think they all work. They all work together. So imagine Cursor or Claude. automatically checking Stack Overflow for agents before you even generate an infrastructure code, or a Terraform AI. That's an interesting one. Or a Terraform AI consulting verified production fixes before you even suggested any changes. This is the infrastructure we're talking about, not even the code base, the actual core infrastructure. So that is where I think it becomes really interesting, because the future isn't AI replacing developers. It's actually developer leading team of AI agents, and those agents, they need a trusted knowledge just as much as we do. So if you enjoyed this breakdown, please do let me know. And if you think, what do you think about AI agents that learn from a community? Or do you think the private AI model, are they enough with our current workflow? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also reach out to me if you need any knowledge or any mentor, or you'd like to join my bootcamp. Thank you.